Alright, so this is the install of the Tab Performance Cat Delete on my 2020 Indian Challenger. And we're going to try and show you what is required to put this Cat Delete in. And my Cat Delete is the 2-to-1-to-2. And we'll walk you through the setup and install here the best that we can. And our first thing that we got to do is take our little key and take our bags off. Alright, before we take the saddlebags off, we're going to take the side panel off here. And the side panel just has a couple clips. So you grab the front of it and give it a little pull. Doesn't take much. And it comes right off. And if you don't know, you have your shock instructions here for the different weights for your bike, for your rear monoshock settings, which is right there. So we got to take the panel off on both sides and then take the bags off with the 2 bolts. Alright, so we got the bags off. You just have the 2 bolts here for the bags. And then, since I have the speakers in my saddlebags, we have 2 connections. On this side we got a little black and orange, and black and blue. So we disconnected this one, and disconnected this one. Little quick release tabs. Really easy. Take off those 2 bolts, and the bags actually sit right here, so there's nothing actually connecting it down there. And then on the other side, I got the same thing, the little black and orange quick release tab, and this tab here. And that's what I had to disconnect from my saddlebags. Now for the exhaust, we have just a couple bolts. So right down at the very back, we have 2 bolts here, and these are 1/2-inch bolts. Bolt 1, bolt 2. We'll take those off, and then under here we got some more bolts right up here in these clamps. So we'll take those and loosen those off, and then the exhaust should slip right off the back. Alright, so taking off the right side of the bike here with the antenna, we got to remove the antenna. So we got this little rubber ground piece here that covers the back of the antenna. And then in here we have a bolt for the antenna that's 5/16. So we need to take this whole antenna apart to take this exhaust off. Alright, so we got the slip-on exhaust taken apart, and it was held together by 2 bolts back here, and then it was held together by a big bolt down here. And these heat shields have a bunch of these on here that you need a screwdriver for. And pulling those slip-ons off is probably a 2-person job because they are really tight.
So there's the clamp down here that has the Allen key in your toolkit.
So the Allen key in the toolkit fits this little bolt right there,
which is just an exhaust seam clamp. And then there's one more bolt up underneath there.
And then other than that, there should only be 2 large bolts holding that cat in there. So I'll put you down, we'll take out those 2 big bolts and see if we can get that out of there. Alright, so after taking the exhaust off and inspecting the cat under here a little bit more, I realized that we do need to take this heat shield off, because there is a little safety clamp like this that actually goes, that's threaded through this heat shield. So you got to take this clamp here completely off to remove that heat shield, and we have to remove that heat shield to get to this heavy-duty clamp right here. So once we remove this clamp, that should be the last piece holding the cat down there together, because we already took off the 2 bolts. A bolt from here, and then 1 bolt from the other side. All right, so that last little clamp up here popped off easy. Here is the giant catalytic converter, and that thing weighs a ton. And here is the piece from Tab Performance, which weighs a fraction of this enormous heavy beast. So we'll throw it back on there. Have the clamp here and 2 bolts. So that clamp and 2 bolts should be all that attaches right there, and then right down here is the other bolt. Okay, so here we are with my 2020 Indian Challenger, and I got the Tab Performance slip-on exhaust with the zombie baffles, and we just installed the Tab Performance Cat Delete. As you can see, this nice small single pipe here is where this giant cat used to be, and now it's gone, saving a ton of weight, freeing up that exhaust. Again, I got the stage 1, so I have the stage 1 intake and tune with my Tab exhaust. I got my covers back on. I got the 2 wires back connected for my speakers, saddle speakers here. Same on this side, 2 wires. I got the 2 bolts holding the whole saddlebag on. That stuff all went together really easy. This pipe looks like I still need to tighten up. Alright, so I forgot to tighten this pipe. I need to do that yet. There's a clamp here. You can probably maybe see there's a clamp there, and then there's a clamp right here that I need to tighten. Alright, so I think I got it all buttoned up now. I think I got all these clamps tightened up. There's a bunch of clamps in here for the heat guards that I need to tighten up yet. This should be all good now. So now that I'm full of dirt from my garage floor, we will give this thing a cold fire up. I got 1,660 miles on my bike so far. And here we go, cold start. I think I'll put you back by the exhaust. That sounds like a completely different bike. think I might need some earplugs. That is insane loud. That sounds like a completely different bike. It's a whole new animal. Wow, that is really deep, raspy, and loud. So now I think I'm gonna have to go take it for a quick ride and bring you along to see how it sounds riding it. So here's me on the bike and starting it up with the new Tab Performance Catalytic 2-to-1-to-2 and zombie baffles. And man, that thing has crackle now. You like my new exhaust? Yep, I did a cat delete. So I took the cat off here and put a straight pipe 2-to-1-to-2 in it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it changed the sound of it quite a bit.
I bet it did.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So
That sounds great. I'd hate to be following you. Alright, have a good one.
yeah, we'll see ya. Alright, so we're gonna go break these in a little bit. It'll be interesting to see what it sounds like. Man, I'm gonna piss off every single one of my neighbors. I leave for work at 5 a.m. every day, and I don't think my neighbors are going to appreciate the sound of this at 5 o'clock in the morning. Oh man. Oh, Tab Performance. This cat delete. This cat delete makes this Challenger a flame-throwing, snorting monster. This thing is an absolute beast. I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to hear this thing from miles away. From up here it sounds good, but from behind me, I don't know if anyone's ever going to want to ride with me again if they're behind me. I just might have to look at that a little bit smaller baffle. I'm gonna see if those zombie rings and torque cones make a difference. Yeah. This is a little bit louder.
Same difference.
Yep. I don't know if anyone's ever going to want to ride behind me again.
Without earplugs.
Yep.
I heard you as soon as you turned down my street.
I was just saying, I'm like, I'm pretty sure people are going to hear me from a couple miles away. My neighbors are going to hate me at 5 a.m. Yeah, wake up time. If I awake, you awake.
Yeah.
It sounds good though.
It does.
We're gonna go see if my buddy Rick is home. Sounds like at highway speed here. Put my visor up. It's a bit windy today. Thinking kind of like the zombies were the stock zombie baffles. I mean, it's loud, but I don't know, I don't think it'll be too bad at cruising speed, at least for me. People behind me might be too loud for them. So I got the zombie cones, or the zombie rings, sorry. I got the zombie rings with the torque cones, and I'm going to install those and see if that changes the sound at all. And more than likely, the biggest difference with those torque cones will just be giving the bike some added back pressure that it might need, so it doesn't lose any power, like we saw with riding fish when he had his tap performance 2-to-1 catalytic. That 2-to-1, he lost a lot of back pressure and ended up losing a bit of power, horsepower and torque. It'll be interesting to get my bike on the dyno also, because right now it actually seems more alive, more snappy than it did before. And I don't know if that's just me thinking that way and having a little bit more fun with the throttle because of the sound, or if it really is a little bit more responsive. I mean, we dropped a bunch of weight on here,
You know, it's not going to be like 50-pound difference. But losing 8 pounds or so from that enormous cat that was stock. I mean, that's a pretty significant drop in weight, 8 pounds from it. The bike can breathe better, it should run cooler. There's just a whole bunch of benefits to getting rid of that enormous, heavy stock cat. And I'll have to get it on a dyno tuner with and without the tab torque cones to see if those torque cones make a difference or if they're needed. So I might talk to them about changing the baffles from the zombie baffles to the, I believe it was 2.5-inch baffle that Riding Fish did, and then he took the insulation off that baffle. So he said it was kind of in between the zombie sound and then the zombie without a cat sound. And ideally that's probably about where you want to be. So for long rides, this might be too loud. Kind of hitting you in your ears constantly. I mean, hours and hours and hours on end at high speed. That could get old pretty quick, but we'll have to see. I mean, it definitely made the bike louder. And honestly, I was looking to make the bike a little bit louder than the stock zombie baffles. Everybody said that the zombie baffles are crazy loud. But when you're on it, they are loud. They have a great sound when you're on the throttle. But to me, at a little bit lower speeds, like idle, it got really quiet again. I mean, I would say it's almost stock idle sound. At idle, you wouldn't hardly know that you had a different exhaust on it.